Well, you know, in 1974, I joined the military and I was stationed in Thailand. So that 1 year I studied Taekwondo and the Koreans left and the Thais took over. Studied Muay Thai, and when I got back to the States, I studied boxing to improve my art. But I opened up my own school of kickboxing. It was called ASK, the American School of Kickboxing. So I was a trainer, I was a manager, I promoted fights, but I had to learn to be a cut man because I had to save money. But I liked it. Once I started wrapping hands and once I started working cuts, I loved it. That's how I started being a cut man.
Nice. How did the nickname Stitch come about?
When I was training with fighters, I worked with this one world champion kickboxer, Dennis Alexio. Great athlete, tremendous athlete. His sparring partner, David Rooney, he fought on the same card and he got a small cut. And I was studying to be a cut man, learning how to be a cut man. And I used to see they used to get tape and get little pieces and make butterflies and close the cut. So I did that. I put it on him and he said, you save me some stitches, I'm going to call you Stitch. And that's how the name came. And it's funny because people don't even know my real name. Alice, you know my real name?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people don't know about your own martial arts background. Could you tell us more about your history in combat sports?
Yeah, it's of course, you know, when like I said, that 1 year when I was in Thailand, every day I ate, slept, martial arts. I went to the jungles in Thailand with the monks and I had rice with them, so it was very, very passionate. Every day, even when I was working, I was practicing, you know, bam, bam. And I did some sparring with the Thais there, and I was a big boy, you know. And they used to call me Bruce Lee. Sawadee Bruce Lee, and they would be messing with me, right? Got back to the States and I trained in boxing and I did some boxing. And then I always had a job, so I couldn't be a fighter. I couldn't give 150% to be a fighter, so I started training fighters. And I ended up being a very good trainer. Had fighters that would come from all over the world and I would train them, and that's how I got going on that.
Beautiful. You played a role in the most recent Rocky sequel, The Creed. How did you find the experience, and which is your favorite Rocky sequel?
Well, you know, I did Balboa. So my first movie with Sylvester Stallone was Balboa, but I worked on the other side. Antonio Tarver, which was the world champion, he was the opponent, Mason the Lion Dixon, so I was in his team. And I got a call to do Creed 2, and I was so excited. But Ryan Coogler, that wrote and directed Creed 2, is from Oakland, and when I got out of the military, I lived in Oakland. But he wanted people that were authentic to come and do the movie, and lo and behold, I ended up working with Sylvester Stallone in the corner with Michael B. Jordan, that now is the new superstar in Hollywood. So I was very, very blessed. I kept telling Stallone and Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I said, I can't sleep at night. I'm in my hotel and I'm saying, why me? Right? You know, what am I doing here? It was a great experience.
How did you come to work with the FFC and Orsat Zovko?
Well, you know, I've known Orsat for many years, working with Crow Cop, and then especially when Crow Cop came into the UFC. They contacted me. They just signed a 6-year deal with Caesars Entertainment in Las Vegas, and the fights are going to be, the shows are going to be at the Rio. They have a beautiful arena that holds about 700 people, and Orsat is a specialist in what he does with production and what have you not. He talked to me about the program, you know, and I've heard a lot of people tell me all the time, I got this, I got that, and it never happens, right? Well, Orsat, we met 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and I got to see the promotion become reality, and that's how I ended up being with Orsat. Jorge Elias is the vice president of the company. He used to do the production for the UFC, the Spanish networks, and he's the one, him and Orsat are the ones to say, you gotta have Stitch.
How do you find Orsat's vision and concept so far?
I think he's a master. I think Orsat, what he's doing, definitely knows his game. You know, when it comes to production, I think he's a master. Jorge Elias excuse me, is a master of what they do. But seeing some of the shows that Orsat did through the videos and all that, it was a tremendous event. So I know he could promote, and I know that he could produce, and that's a big thing, and I'm glad to be on board.
And what will your role in the FFC include?
I'll be the director of human affairs. I'll be dealing with the athletic commissions and making sure that everything is okay. I'll be hiring the cutmen to bring on board. They want to do a stitch corner, so education is what I've always wanted to do. So every week we're going to have a segment for the FFC channels, and so I'll be kind of like the face of FFC in the United States.
I understand. And I want to ask you this. I know you've answered this question before, but I like the story actually. What is the biggest cut you've ever seen?
Well, I've seen a lot of big cuts, but that's a question people ask me all the time. But and I'll show you a picture. Maybe you guys can get it on film. But Marvin Eastman fought Vitor Belfort. It was a UFC show, and he took a knee, and that cut was about this big, right down here. But there's a story to that, because psychology and what I do is very important with the fighters, right? So I'm cleaning up Marvin Eastman, and the cut is big, and I know that they're on TV because the people are going, ooh, ah. And I said, Marvin, this is the biggest fucking cut I've ever seen in my life. And he started laughing. But there was a reason why I did that, because I wanted to make sure that he understood what I was talking about. Guys that got knocked out, I've had to tell them 2 or 3 times, you got knocked out. You got knocked out because their brain is still rattled. But Marvin Eastman was focused. He was okay.
Okay. And what is your message to your fans as well as the FFC fans all over the world?
Wow, listen, I'm glad to be with the FCC, and I'm glad to be doing what I do, loving being a cutman. But I've always had the skills, because I had a job. I worked in marketing, sales and marketing, so I did it for a major company in the United States. So I know my business, and I don't think the UFC knew that I had more talents outside of being a cutman. So now I get to use my talents as not only as a cutman, what I do, but also I get to use my business sense and make sure that FFC runs as smooth as it should be. And like I say, I think I'll be the face of it. So it's all going to work out perfectly. And then I live in Las Vegas, so I don't have to travel.
All right.
So Stitch, thank you very much for being here. It's an honor for all of us. It's an honor for me, from InTheRing.gr, from PrizeFighting.gr, from FightersDome.gr, and of course from Michalis Yulis, who organized the great event. So it's an honor for us. Thank you. The first question, I'm going to go light on you, just like a jab in the first round.
My man. All right.
So the question is, how do you like Athens so far?
Oh God, it's tremendous, and I'm going tomorrow to Philadelphia to finish Creed 2, right? So the second assistant sent me a message, we were going to pick you up at 6:30 in the morning. And I said, look, this has been a great week for me. I believe in positive energy, and the energy that I'm going to go. I mean, look, I got chills just talking to this. To come to Athens to me is a tremendous opportunity, because I'm in combat sports, right? I've been to Thailand, which is the home of Muay Thai, Japan, the home of karate, and boxing, Las Vegas, but Athens here is pancration. And we saw that statue of the first hand wrap, right? So this is the motherland of what we do with mixed martial arts. But outside of that, the people here in Athens have been like super. We're family.
Yeah.
I met Michalis here, and right off the bat, I liked him, he liked me. He's been treating me like we're family, and I feel like I'm part Greek.
We'd like you to be part of it.
Yes, of course. And my son-in-law, my daughter got married in Crete. I told you my son-in-law is half Greek, and so who would have known? Come to Athens, and I'm part of the family.
So you have one more reason to visit.
Yeah, of course.
Very good. Now, having been around the boxing business for so long, how have you seen it change, evolve? How has it progressed through time?
That's a good question, and it's funny because boxing is different than MMA. Boxing, the guys in boxing don't want to learn to be better cutmen. They don't want to, they're old-fashioned, they're old school, and MMA is entirely different, because everybody wants to learn how to be a cut man, how to be a great trainer. So education in MMA is welcome. In boxing, they still think they know it all. They put the swabs in their mouths, they put them in their ear. But the game of boxing really hasn't changed too much. Don King is gone. Bob Arum is at the tail end. You know, these are the guys that were the top promoters. But now, you know, the game continues. And now a lot of the Russians are coming in, and they're starting to make a big impact. So I love boxing. It's a great sport.
So do you see a change for the better with the newer generation that's coming in?
For boxing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think the new generation is starting to put together. They're more business sense. You know, a promoter would make the money for the promoter. Manager would make the money for the manager. The network would make the money for the network. But I think this new generation of promoters and agents and all that, they're giving back to the system, and the fighters are being better compensated. The safety of it, you know, the head traumas, all that is improved tremendously, and I think we're doing good.
I think we can all agree here that we consider you to be a legend. But before you were a legend, you had to start from somewhere, and you had to work your way up. So what kept you going through the difficult times when you first started and you were hungry and you had a vision, but you had to work to get there? What kept you going, motivated, strong, willing, hungry?
You just answered it. I was hungry, I had a motivation, I had a vision. I'm not a quitter. I grew up very poor, but I grew up very humble, and we grew up very strong, mentally and physically. And like I say, I knew I was going to be a professional in something. I thought it was going to be American baseball. That didn't happen only because of economics, not because of my skills. But what I learned in Thailand, I learned that I could be better at what I came back. After a year in Thailand, I came back and taught a new person. My family didn't recognize me. I could put my leg all the way up to here. And, you know, my brother would hold the glove and I'd kick it off him, and they're thinking, wow, what happened to you? So that really changed my whole thing. And like I said, that time when that one cup man, I asked him what he did, and he says, you know, fuck you. You gotta learn like me, and I'm taking this to my grave, and that directed me. It's, I don't want to be like him. My job is to really teach and not to be like that. And it's funny because that story, I went back home with Andre Ward, world champion. Now this guy comes up to me, and his son, they want to take a picture with me now. So I take a picture like this, but I'm thinking mentally, I won, because I know he don't know what he said to me because he didn't know me then, but I know, and that really kind of helped motivate me to do what I'm doing now. And talk about a legend, I really appreciate those words. People say icon and legend, and the bartender here recognizes me, but I don't consider myself that. I'm just, you know, good at what I do, and you know, Mihalis knows I'm a very basic person like all you guys. You know, I'm just good at what I do, and I'm blessed. But I look at this and I wonder, you know, why me? But I've come to the conclusion that it had to happen to somebody, and I just happen to be that chosen one. And with that, I got to take that forward and do what I do. That's trying to make the sport better.
Are we going to see you as a cut man back in boxing, do you think?
Oh yeah, of course. I got a big fight July the 7th. Bebu Chumanov, he's from Kazakhstan, so I already booked that fight. And I had fights before that, smaller fights. But this is the Astana, which is the capital of Kazakhstan, is going through their 20th anniversary. But it's also the birthday of the president. So that whole week they're going to have a celebration, and the finale will be Bebu Chumanov fighting. So the message I got is expect the president and expect other presidents from the Soviet Union that are going to be there. Am I going to be there? Of course. It's a great opportunity, you know. It's history, and I'm part of that history. So,
following up on the question of my dear friend Andres here, what's the biggest cut you saw in boxing?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, Marvin Eastman was a big cut, but you know, there's been other ones, and Brock Lesnar, people don't realize when he fought Cain Velasquez, he had a big major cut there, and when I put the swab in that cut, and the swab is what we use that has the medication, the cotton, I put it in there, it went all the way in, and once I put the adrenaline in, and the adrenaline closes up the blood vessels, I squeezed it, and once I let it go, it opened up again like this. But he's telling, Brock Lesnar's telling me between him and I, he said, Stitch, take care of me. And this is a big man that's 265 pounds plus, and he's telling me, Stitch, take care of me, and that's my job.
But in boxing?
In boxing, my first big fight that I had, my coming out fight, was in Las Vegas. Oscar De La Hoya fought Hector Macho Camacho, and the same main event, the semi-main event, was Raul Marquez fought Keith Mullins, and I was working with Raul Marquez. Well, he ended up with 5 cuts, 2 big ones, two here, and then 1 on the nose, 75 stitches altogether. I kept him in the game. He defended his world title. That's when the people in Las Vegas and boxing said, "Who is this guy? Wow, where'd he come from?" But they don't realize that I had years of experience in kickboxing, and you know, we all know these guys get cut. So I had that experience, and when I moved to Las Vegas, I didn't go as a trainer because I thought all the great trainers in the world, I just went as a cut man. But I'm in the gym and I'm looking at these guys punch and all that. I said, man, hope pads, I can do that. I can do that. I started training fighters also. You know, but I just didn't have that time and commitment because I always had that corporate American job. Right. And so I dedicated myself to being a cut man.
Okay, last question for my end. Adonis Stevenson versus Badu Jack tonight.
Yes.
Who wins and why?
Well, it's funny because there's I always get messages on the strength wise. Obviously, you know, Adonis Stevenson is a power puncher. Badu Jack works out of the Mayweather gym, and I see him all the time. But I always go hang out at the Mayweather gym. Skill wise, he's like the Andre Ward. So it's like the Andre Ward Sergey Kovalev fight. You got the bruiser with the boxer, and but this is the type of thing. If it goes the distance, Badu Jack will win. You know, if it's a knockout, then I give it to Stevenson. Very simple.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh no, thank you guys very much.
I have one more question. One more. I'm sorry, I'm over here.
Yes, hey.
So a few days ago, John McCarthy was at the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you happened to see it. So he was telling about how the genesis of the mixed martial arts unified rules at 96, I think it was becoming to form the rules. Now, what rules would you change in mixed martial arts competition from the unified rules if it was up to you? Because we have the best referee in the business telling his opinion. What about the best cutman in the business?
I don't know. I work so many different. That's a good question. So many different areas, so many different divisions that I just kind of go with the program, right? But as you look at as a cut man, how I would change the structure of a cut man, and I think it's happening in the mixed martial arts more than boxing, is nobody in the mixed martial arts, they all wear gloves.
Yes.
They all wear the wristband that I created, where you put the swab, so you don't have to put it in your ear and your mouth. No chewing gum, you know, when you're working. Iron your uniform, you know. So in that aspect, and then medications. I created a new N-Swell that works on the swelling. I introduced Quick Aid, which is it's 100% natural. It dries up the blood. So I've brought those to the table, and that's how I have changed it. But when it comes to rules and regulations, what happens in the ring, it's not my job, brother. My job is just to work on cuts.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.